everybody, Linda here, the scrapbooking photographer. Welcome to my channel, and welcome also to today's hop, which is very special as we celebrate 500 subscribers for Kathy Price from Kathy Loves to Scrap. So Kathy has asked us to do a scrap lift of one of her pages, and as soon as I read that, I knew exactly what I was going to scrap lift from her, and it was this beautiful page she did here after she had been visiting to Alaska. We watched with interest as her photos came through, and when she scrapped this one, it was just beautiful. And it did put me in mind of a lovely panoramic photo that I had taken myself. Not the same colour scheme, but that's what I'm going to be scrapbooking today. And that was taken in 2022 at McLaren Falls, which is in the Kaimai Hills in the Waikato in New Zealand. So that's what I'm working on, and I have chosen to use one of the first scrapbook kits that Stampin' Up brought out, which is called Autumn to Remember. And we get these beautiful wood veneer die cuts and a sticker sheet. And there's some pre-cut pages that we can use, and some plain coloured cardstock, which is two-tone, so lighter on one side, darker on the other, of various colours, and a couple of single sheets, as well as the double-sided papers, which are just beautiful. Very autumnal, and I love the pink that's come through in these papers, which just goes so well with the photo that I'm working with. So what I've decided to use is this paper here. Has got little leaves on it, and it's green on the other side, and I love both sides, but thankfully there's two pieces of each. So the first thing we need to do is put the photo in there, and I'm figuring it's going to go along there. Now I have cut out these little cutouts, which I think will go in various places around here. Now Kathy had another photo up here and another photo up here, and I did look at some to print off, but they really didn't shine next to this one, so I'm going to leave that out and do a couple of different things. She also has a strip across the top, which I'm going to try and do with this punch that I cut out. Now I don't want to overpower the page with lighter colours, so I'm actually going to tone that down a little bit, and I might put one of those at the top and one of those at the bottom. So I'll cut another one of them, and then we'll tone them both down at the same time and start putting this layout together. I'm just using toffee ink, and I'm thinking that that will just tone down this kind of pinky look to this cardstock. So I think those are toned down a little bit, so not quite so bright. We'll put one at the top with the bigger section of the triangle on the upward facing part, so that we can fit a couple of squares. Now Kathy has some big diamonds over here and some triangles coming out from underneath, so the idea of scrap lifting is to change things up a little bit, not to copy directly. So it is an inspiration for me, and I'll put those two there like that, and another two down this end. So what I'm going to do is use my dauber to go around the outside of these, because you can see that they are slightly frayed on the edge, and also that white colour is coming through, which we don't really want in amongst all the autumn tones. So I'll just whiz around these two, and then I'll make another one of these, because the paper it comes from is that one. So to do that we need 3-inch squares, because this is 3 inches across. So 3 inches across like that. If I just made a square and turned it sideways, those little emblems would be on an angle, which I don't really want. I want them straight up. So I've cut a 3-inch square, which is the width across here and here. And what I'll do on the back is just mark the halfway point, which is 1.5 here, here, turn it around, here and here, and then simply use the trimmer to cut from mark to mark, and that cuts the corners out. So you do get all these triangles, which I thought would be quite cool to use, but I don't think I'm going to in this layout. Maybe on the companion page I'll get some use out of them. I certainly won't be throwing them out. So just going whizzing around here. It doesn't actually matter if they're not exactly square, but they won't be too bad. And then you end up with a square. Oops. Where the emblems are the right way up. So we'll go around that as well. And that will come down into this corner. So sort of balancing that off a little bit. Okay, while I'm here with my doorbell, I'm just going to go along the inside of this as well, just to give it that outline of darker. So I'll go ahead and do this one and cut another one of these out, and then we'll be back with the next stage. Okay, so we'll have all these facing in the same way. It'll be interesting to see all the other scrap lifts that people do in this hop. Kathy's come onto the scene and stormed through her 500 subscribers, which is fabulous. She does a great job in her videos. Okay, and then I've got the sticker sheet here, and there's these little lines here, and I'm just thinking that they might go quite nicely underneath the photo, but we need to make very sure we got the photo in the right place before we stick them down. So that's going to be a little bit tricky. I'm going to stick these things on first, and then we'll come back and measure that up. So those are stuck down, and I've just left a little gap at the top just to get that continuity of the paper coming through. This is going to go underneath here, but it also is going to have to go underneath those two things there as well. So I'll just lift them up a little bit so that I can sneak underneath. Bottom at 8. Right, so I'll just put a little bit of sticky under here again, just to re-stick them down. Then I'll do the same with this one. Get it up a little bit. Make sure it's level on the mat. We went with 8 3/4 there, and we've given ourselves, if we go there, we should be at the bottom at 3 1/4. Just sneak under here a little bit. 3 1/4, that makes it straight. Just double check. Yep, that's fine. So we'll stick these down again. And I think we can stick the photo down now too. Get that fairly even in the middle there. I've just changed my mind and decided to pop these over this side, and they should still fit fine. And move these ones over to this side, just because I want to put the heading on the top left and a little bit of journaling down here, and I don't know why I didn't think of that before I started doing it all. But anyway, I've got it right now. Now, out of this beautiful sheet, there is a heading called Autumn Days, which I would like to put in there. And there's also a couple of leaves that I thought might be handy, so I'll just pop them out. Just get a little selection of types of leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how that goes. And then for the journaling box down here, I've got this little bit here, but I kind of need a bit more than that. I could start there and come down here. That's what I'll do. This just brings in a little bit more of this colour here. So I'm going to trim it at about there and put some sticky on it. And the same with the little piece at the top, so it'll look like it's one long piece going down there like that. Now I'm going to have to move on. This is what you call changing things as you go, because it's not quite lined up. So that will give me enough room to do a little bit of journaling. And we'll just scatter these leaves around. We've also got some of these little push outs that I just want to pop around the place. So when you're next to the edge, kind of want it to cover the corners. So it's a matter of positioning it in the right place. This one I thought could come just in there, and then maybe we can put one to have that sort of coming out of the middle of it there. And we've got that little circle there and a couple of sayings. Now we've got Golden Leaves Autumn Breeze, which I thought was quite cool there, and brings in a third line of this colour. So I'll just pop that in there. And the other one I liked was Leaves Are Turning. It's just got a little bit of green in it as well. If I pop that up the top there. Right, so I'm just going to stick all of that down. I've just got a couple of these bronzy coloured sequins, which I think look quite good in those autumn tones. So I'll pop a few of those around. And I have to say that I wouldn't have done anything like this without the inspiration from Kathy's layout. So thank you very much for the opportunity to scrap lift you, Kathy, and get this page done. There will be a link below to the other people who are taking part in this hop. So I do encourage you to have a look and see what they've come up with for their celebration for Kathy's 500 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to people's channels, then please do so today. Everybody's got goals to reach. Mine is to get to 500 like Kathy very soon, and I'm getting close. So if you haven't subscribed, I'd really welcome your support. So here is the page for Kathy's celebration video. Thank you so much for letting me take part, Kathy, and congratulations again. Happy crafty, everybody.